Mic check!
Mic check!
My name is Dylan.
My name is Dylan.
I live 5 blocks from here.
I live 5 blocks from here.
I think you people are crazy.
I think you people are crazy.
I love the way you communicate.
I love the way you communicate.
The world has noticed your voice.
The world has noticed your voice.
You have been here for 3 weeks.
You have been here for 3 weeks.
And you should be very proud of what you have accomplished.
And you should be very proud of what you have accomplished.
For 15 years, I worked as a financial services professional.
For 15 years, I worked as a financial services professional.
Have you guys said that yet?
Have you guys said that yet?
Woo! I crack myself. I can't believe I'm here talking to you. I'm here because I agree with you.
I'm here because I agree with you.
I made the decision 3 years ago. To leave the financial services industry. I did that because it was clear. That the financial services industry. Was purchasing both political parties. I believe that the fundamental problem with our collective desire to demand the debate America deserves is that both of our political parties are funded by a narrow group of well-heeled individuals. Is because they are bought. What do we do? Thank you. So I have been asking myself, what the hell I'm going to do about this? I have decided that I am going to devote all of my resources, whatever those resources may be, with the knowledge that the decision to devote resources is much more important than what your resources are.
It's much more important than what your resources are.
I believe that you and every other group of people who know for a fact that their government is bought and are making the decision to make 2012 the year our voice will be heard. I asked myself what do I do with my voice? I look at myself like an angry villager. I am irate. I know that if I cannot harness my personal rage for positive change, I will harm myself and not help anybody else. My question to myself has been, how do I harness fire? In myself. You can either burn yourself in the town square, or you can deliver a single message to your government. My message is that the government is bought. Two more and I'm done. If we do not separate business and state, and harness this energy, to make that the central mission of this year's election, we cannot begin to do the work we have to do. Thank you for giving me some of your time, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you for giving me some of your time and congratulations on your success.
I love what you're doing. I believe that this can be turned into an action item for next year. Right now, what's being communicated is we're not going to take it anymore. This is very Pink Floyd, right? No mas, which is the first declaration, and it's important. But the but the difference between the no mas, which is the originator, we're going because this right? The question is, so now you've got these energy balls in New York, in Boston, in Philadelphia, etc. And it's not just you guys. There are old people, black people, rich people, poor people. They're not here, but they feel the same way, which is that this country has become a bought government, an auction-based government that is unfair. Even if it's unfair and you're winning, you're like, this is the most screwed up thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And you know for a fact that even if you're winning in a rigged system, you will be losing soon.
Do you think it might actually benefit us that we're being so generic, giving time for people who maybe disagree?
I think that the only thing we have to call for is this: making a debate next year about the relationship between business and state, the same way that the people did between church and state 1,000 years ago. The reason we can't even have the debate is because a wall of money surrounds our government that prevents us from having the debate. And what I'm saying to you is that we have a draft of a constitutional amendment that is up for debate by everybody for the end of the year. We're going to have Lawrence Lessig come on. Ron Paul's going to come on. We're going to change the language of that amendment in the context of a public debate that will be held between now and the end of the year. I don't know, but I have an opportunity to start it because of the nature of the platform that I have. But what I'm trying to start is a debate around the unholy alliance between business and state, and I'm trying to make a point, which is that we must harness this energy to affect positive change in 2012, get money out of politics. And you can vote for whoever you want, and you can give money to whoever you want, because that's you can't deny what already exists, but you can acknowledge what already exists while simultaneously articulating the problem. And we can push towards the conventions next summer and the elections next year, such that we can then force the presidential candidates to confront our request to separate business and state in a public forum that is unavoidable. And what we're looking at right now, what is it? It's September. So look at all the energy. Look at all the energy not outside of this place. If the energy is a single goal, separate business and state, room for every mechanic and idea in the world. I'm not a man of mechanics and ideas. I defer to the crowd. But I know that our principles and our goals can be aligned on the simple assertion of separating money and politics. And so my argument to you guys is that we have an opportunity to convert the energy that you've already harnessed into a channel of a flow of energy into next year, where we can push collectively for a constitutional amendment to get the money out. People will get all crazy with that. And then I'm like, well, you know, the same technology that gave us the credit default swap, the same technology that gave us deep water oil drilling, is just a manifestation of order of magnitude of what is possible. That same energy wave that gives you swaps, that gives you deep water oil drilling, can and will be harnessed to communicate a singular message to the government from the people to get the money out. Because everybody knows that here's all you need to know, and then I'll shut up. But here's all you need to know. I put out a spreadsheet of every politician that's running for office. I don't have to see their face. I don't have to read anything that they say. I don't have to hear what anybody thinks about them. I don't have to watch a commercial. I don't have to do anything. I can lay out a spreadsheet, and I can look on the spreadsheet to say who raised the most money. And if I pick my horses based on who raised the most money, I will be right 94% of the time. Makes Moneyball look like it doesn't work. This is the best Moneyball in town. And once you realize that 94% of the time the person who wins is the one who raises the most money, you realize you are living in an auction-based government. You are not living in a democracy. And the reason Wall Street gets the appropriate villainy that it does is because Wall Street is the best vehicle to purchase the government. And at the end of the day, though, the issue is not Wall Street in the sense that you need to have some sort of capital, you need some investment structure for any country to function. But at the end of the day, you cannot have any economic structure. Imagine if the whale blubber guys that made all the lights in New York could buy the government to prevent electricity. That's what we're talking about. The world's changed. Healthcare is different. Education is different. Energy is different. We're all stuck in the 1950s from when Dwight Eisenhower came back after the war and made this country. Well, it's going to be 2020 when we're going to blink our eyes. We're going to be stuck in 1950. We have a problem-solving mechanism from the 1700s. When there's 1,000 solutions to a problem and you're stuck with two bogus parties. You got a crappy solution from the Democrats and a solution from the Republicans that makes you afraid that you're going to die. And you're like, well, I got crap or death. What am I going to go with this year? I guess I'll go with crap. That's no way to live. And your point is we're not going to live that way. Because you guys know that the problem-solving mechanisms that exist now exist. And so do a lot of other people. But the question for us tonight is not any of that. The question is, are we going to have the awareness as a group to observe the ball of energy that is here, honor it, and respect it, and then figure out how we're going to convert that energy into an action for 2012 that will advance our agenda. And we cannot advance our agenda, whatever our agenda may be, and everybody's agenda is probably different. But whatever your agenda is, it does not stand a chance as long as you live in an auction-based government, which is why, can I see one of these? Yeah. We got to get the goddamn money out. And so people think I'm crazy, but the fact of the matter is, we amended the Constitution to outlaw beer. We amended it again to make beer legal again. That's 2 amendments. And you're telling me we can't amend the Constitution to separate business and state amid pervasive evidence of an auction-based government that's being bought? I think not. The fact of the matter is, just because the politicians are bought does not mean that because uniquely, for the first time in the history of the world, the pharaohs screwed over all the poor people in Egypt. The samurai screwed everybody over in Asia. They were screwing everybody over in London in the 1850s. The rich people and the government have been screwing everybody over for as long as there have been rich people, government, and people. So the only thing that's novel here is that we suddenly have the ability to share information. And the question is, will we be able to exploit our ability to share information such that we can affect positive change, or will we get so toxified by the information that we destroy ourselves? And the only way to avoid that, because I've done a number on myself the past few years for my own frustration as a feeling of an inability to do anything. You don't even want to know. I'm finally at a point where I realize that if I don't harness the energy, I will destroy myself. I believe that is true for everybody else. And so I'm offering this as a solution that I found myself and offering it to you as a concept for you to consider and debate as the action item coming off of this energy. And the action item is a single principle: separate business and state. We have a chance, and if we have a chance, we have something to do for the next year.